Yes. Oh, goodness. Oh, so good girly.
This is the girl that we need to see. This is the girl we need. No.
Welcome to the Book Angle, where we talk about books from different angles and sometimes go in circles. I'm Anna, and this is Sabrina. And today we are in my home office.
Yay! There's some similarities.
Yeah, the books.
The books, the plants.
My shelves aren't as big, but that is okay.
But you have more of them.
I do have more of them that are not on camera right now.
4. And also more in the room.
Yeah.
And in the basement, you have more bookshelves than me total.
They're just more spread out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today we are going to be talking about Assistant to the Villain. But before we get into that, I do want to give a shout out to the couple of people who have reached out to us and told us that they used our rubric that we use to review books, reviewing their own books that they're reading.
Yeah.
And that they felt like it really helped them talk about their feelings and contextualize what they were trying to say.
One person told me, they're like, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the rubric at first. Like, I get that you're a teacher and all, but like, why? But and then she said that she was able to look at it, and it actually for the first time helped her say why she didn't enjoy something instead of just using those filler words like,
right.
It was boring. And I was like, wait, no, if this were different, this would have helped, which can help them pick out new books in the future.
Right. So I hope that you all are able to enjoy it as well and let us know what you think.
Try it out this week.
Yeah.
That's my challenge.
Assistant to the Villain. How are you feeling?
Well, this book was highly recommended to us, it's really popular on TikTok. I also have had a lot of close friends reach out to me and tell me to read it. So I had really high hopes.
Yep. I was in a coffee shop a couple of days ago, about a week ago, and somebody who watches our videos was there and was like, I'm really looking forward to this review. So this is for you, Paige. I have some mixed feelings about this book, so we'll get into it.
Yeah.
So first category is characterization. Do you want to start with that?
I don't want to be the one to start. I'm really struggling because if you have followed along with our videos, you know that we have 5 categories, and my feelings about the characters blend between characterization and believability.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm just being brutally honest, I would probably give it a 2 for characterization.
Ooh.
And if you've watched our previous videos, I think I'm pretty generous in a lot of my categories. The issue that I had with the characters is that I was told a lot of things about them. I was told, oh, this person's evil. Oh, this person is brave. This person just says anything that's on their mind. But I didn't see any of it. And as a reader, I didn't get to work towards building that relationship. It was already pre-decided for me that I was supposed to like these characters. And I didn't get any of that. So that's why I feel like it's character and believability. But because I didn't connect with any of the characters, I just didn't care. It just really didn't.
So I feel like I landed closer. You're going to be upset. I landed closer to a 4 for characterization. I 100% agree that we are told a lot in this book. This is a classic case of telling versus showing. Everything here we are told and we are shown very, very, very little. So a lot of it is there's a prologue that sets up this dynamic between the assistant and the villain, and then we jump.
That was great.
Yeah, we jump 5 months later to the start of the book. So the book actually starts while they've already developed a relationship, and we don't see that move from, oh, we're just getting to meet each other. We're gonna, I'm gonna work for you. You're evil. I don't know how I feel about that. None of that. We don't get any of it.
I needed those 5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but why are you a 4? Sorry.
So I'm a 4. I know. So let me point out all the things that were bad. That I am a 4 because I did actually still really enjoy the characters. I know you didn't, But I did, and I thought they were funny and quirky, and even the side characters had personality that I could enjoy. And I felt like the relationship dynamic, though we don't see it change the entire book,
Nope.
and that is also...
Except for Becky.
That's
Sorry.
also a point of contention I have seen online, that there's... Let me clarify really quickly. Side point. If you are looking for a spicy romance fantasy, this is not for you. Not
at
for
all.
you. You are going to be incredibly disappointed. For us, that was fine because we don't really care about that kind of thing.
But I keep on interrupting you. I'm so sorry. But what was awkward, even though I don't necessarily, those are typically parts I skip, I feel like there were so many moments where it was almost awkward that there wasn't some steam. Not spice, but we needed steam.
Right. It's made very clear from chapter 1 that these characters are into each other. That they have feelings for each other that have not been discussed.
Yeah.
And I hate to break it to you, they will not be discussed for the entirety of the book.
Nope.
So there's a lot of slow burn that never pays off. And
there's no burn. Sorry.
I felt like there was some burning.
Sorry. I'm going to let Anna talk now. So characters, why did you like them?
I felt like I could buy into their relationship, not because we were told, like, not because we were shown it, but because I just liked the dynamic that was established. And it kind of did feel like I was picking up in the middle of a TV show, which, side point, again, the author of this book got famous on TikTok for skits that were revolving around this idea of an assistant to a villain.
Yeah.
Which is how the book came to be. And I have not watched a single one of her videos before. And I kind of wanted to wait until I had read the book to do so. Just because if you hear some grunting, my dog is on the other side of that door and she's very upset.
Pinto just wants to play with me, and we had to get down to business, and I'm like, I feel like a terrible friend to her. Like, I feel like I've let her down.
She just wanted to play, and unfortunately, it was no playtime, and so she's having a little bit of a cry on the other side of the door. So just ignore that. Anyway. So she made TikToks, and I have not seen them, and I wonder if I had seen them, that I would have enjoyed this book a lot more, because maybe that gave us the context that we needed.
So I thought the same thing, and I watched them all, and I feel like what she had mentioned was that this book was supposed to be a fantasy, The Office. So when we're talking about it being a TV show, that was the goal.
It was not The Office.
No. But it didn't give me the context.
It was more Parks and Rec vibes. If we're gonna compare it to an Office themed TV show, Parks and Rec is a lot closer to this. I felt like, but even then, I feel like that's kind of a stretch too. Anyway, okay, so I feel like I landed on a 4 because I did really enjoy the characters, even if they were not growing at all in this series or in this first book. Plot development. How do you feel about that one?
This one is hard. I think I wish I had those 5 months after the prologue. That would have helped me a lot in multiple parts of the plot. But there is a clear goal. You know, we know what the mission is.
Right.
We know what the characters are working toward. So if I'm being as objective as possible, initially it was going to be a 4. And then we got to the ending. And there were some reveals that I was like, what? Mm-hmm. Why would you do this? Some people I've read have really liked the plot twists. I didn't. I feel like it just kind of ruined the plot in some ways, because I didn't get any hints or indications at all that what was going to happen was what was going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And so now I'm a 3.
Yeah, I agree that 3 is probably the right category here, because it does kind of move at a steady pace. Mm-hmm. I was never bored reading it. I felt like I kind of could get a hint of like, oh, we're watching them. Well, I thought I was going to be watching their relationship develop, but to be honest, I don't think their relationship developed all that much. However, you kind of get, they're looking for a spy. There's a spy within the office, and that is kind of the like setup of the premise or whatever you want to say to move the plot forward, is them looking for this person who is backstabbing them.
She let Pinto in. She's like, Mom. She's
Speaking of backstabbing. Hold on.
Hi.
Okay.
Did you miss your friend? Okay, you have to simmer though.
Maybe if I rub her belly with my foot, she'll be happy.
She'd knock over the tripod.
Anyway, now that my dog has gotten her way,
Sorry, I'm such an enabler. I just gave in.
What was I saying?
Plot, it was very well, like, it moved at a steady pace. There's a spy in the building. They're trying to figure out who the spy is.
Yes, and I felt like that was all well done. We learned some backstory about the villain. We learned some backstory about the assistant. Then we get to the big reveal, right, at the end. And a lot of stuff starts happening really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And like you said, it just didn't add up.
No.
There was particular one twist that just was like, it felt like a cheap shot at the character.
Yeah.
And I did not understand why they chose to just change this character's motivations entirely, what we were being told. And
it's like the character made sense.
Yeah.
But the motive
was so hard to buy into. How do I describe this without telling you anything? It was just really hard to buy.
Yeah. I feel
that
like
this character was actually truly evil. And when I say truly evil, I mean like disgustingly evil. And
there was no reason for it.
There was no reason for it, and no foreshadowing that they had these feelings towards characters in the book. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that kind of, a 3.
Yeah. It was initially a 4.
Yeah.
I was going to give it that, and then it dropped.
Yeah. Author's voice.
This one is hard because it was quirky and cute. You know, it's lighthearted, so the author has done that really well. We texted about this. It's like the author decided, hey, I just want to make something that's quirky and cute and funny, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was the goal, it was done well.
Yeah.
There were parts where I was kind of, I was giggling. I was like, okay, fine. The banter that the characters all have is funny. But when we talk about, there's like almost like 2 different types of author's voice. There's the tone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she nailed the tone.
Right.
But then when it comes to, I guess, the prose and how that is written and how it progresses things, that's where we get into that showing versus telling. And in one of my teacher books, my girl Nancy Atwell has this perfect lesson that she teaches on how to get people to show instead of tell. And the whole time I was reading it, I was like, I wish I could just sit down with you and talk to you about how you could span this one scene. So I don't feel like it's a 3. I don't feel like it's a 4. So I feel like I have to do a cheap shot and do a 3.5.
Okay. I feel like I have a hard time with halves. I'm just gonna go with 3.
Okay.
But I do agree. Author's voice. The showing versus telling was such an issue for me because I feel like if that had been fixed in editing, then this entire book, like I think our characterization we would have rated higher. Well, you would have rated higher for sure.
Yeah.
And it just would have resolved a lot of issues for us. That said, I did still enjoy the voice of the book. It's quirky, it's funny. I don't think it ever made me laugh out loud kind of funny, but that's just...
It's real good.
yeah, and it might make you laugh out loud. It just depends on what you consider funny or not. And I do have to say, I noticed a trend here. This is a book published by Red Tower, and if you know anything about publishing, Red Tower also published Fourth Wing, which is famously known for the what is the word I'm looking for? The like template of blank period, blank period, blank period, like so bleeping hot. we see that same format in this book. Not as much.
Not as bad.
Not as bad, but it is still there. And I was wondering, did they have the same editor? Like, is there why is that a trend in these books that were, maybe it was just happening to be coincidence?
I feel like this book and this particular publishing company, I feel like they want their books to be really easily accessible for people who don't enjoy reading. And stuff like so bleeping blank or whatever, that's very much like texting, which is something that we do all the time. I didn't get that from this book as much, but I did get that it wasn't, and again, I don't need this in a book, but the sentences weren't very complex. They were very short and to the point. And that's what made it feel more like a TV show to me. But yeah, I don't really know. I feel like that might just have to be their goal. They just want it to be something that even if you don't like reading, you can pick up these books and read it quickly.
Right. I've also seen this book discussed as being, it's marketed as adult fantasy. I think this falls far more easily into the YA category.
Yeah.
Our main character is 23.
Yes.
However, her actions line up more with like a 17-year-old. And even the villain, who is 29, acts more like he's like very early 20s at best.
Yeah.
So it did read very YA, especially on a sentence structure level as well. Just it's very consumable.
I didn't believe in this story. And this is why I said I was struggling at the beginning between characters and believability. The world made sense. I believed the world that they were in. I believed the conflict. I believed what the main problem was. I just didn't believe in the characters. And then with the plot twist at the end, I especially didn't believe in the characters. And I didn't think this is how a villain who would be doing all these different things, how he would respond to the situation. Or a girl who's been taking care of sick family members and experiencing grief and all these other things, how she would respond to the situation. There's literally only one character in this whole book who I believed in all of their actions and I believed in their storyline, and it's Becky. And no one likes Becky because she's not nice. But that's the only person whose entire plot backstory I actually bought. Yeah. And so it's like, it's hard because I can believe in the plot, I can believe in the conflict, but characters and plot go hand in hand. They're two sides of the same coin. And I didn't believe in them. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't want to give it a 2, but like that's kind of where I'm landing.
Yeah. I feel like I'm also, it's hard because a 2 sounds really harsh, but it is where I think this book lands as far as like, is what you're setting the story up to be believable. And I don't think that a lot of the characters' actions were believable, nor was the fact that their relationship never come to fruition, nor was the plot twist, where the plot twist especially, I think that's what really brings it down to a 2 for me. Yeah. Was that plot twist at the end was so hard to buy. Because
Anna had done such a good job not talking to me about this book because she wanted this to be more authentic until the plot twist. Yeah. You had to break down. Sorry.
Yeah. It was just like, what? What? And it wasn't, oh man, I just don't, I'm having a hard time not spoiling it. So I'm going to just move on. But yeah, definitely a 2.
Yeah. General reading experience. I really didn't enjoy reading this book. I haven't said that so far. Yeah. I have been I don't want to say the more generous one, but in this category, I think I have been. I just didn't.
In the past, you mean?
In the past, yeah. I really didn't enjoy reading it. I can't give it a 1, but I think I had to give it a 2. I just really didn't like it. Which is, like, I really wanted to. I think that's what's sad about this book. I really wanted to like it. So I kept on reading thinking, oh, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be what changes it. Oh, this will be the moment I've been waiting for. It's like I kept on waiting for something.
Right.
And it never came. So I just closed it dissatisfied.
Yeah, I think that for the fact that the romance never came to fruition when it should have, that's a weird sentence for me to say because I love a slow burn. I don't care if there's no spice. But the fact that they never even discussed their feelings was so weird to me because it's so obvious to everyone how they feel about each other. And it just kind of felt like we were waiting for something to happen and then it never happened. It was like, it was a 3 for me because I did enjoy it, but that there was no payoff to that enjoyment. And so that kind of like just was like, well, I will probably read the next book. I don't feel comfortable recommending it though.
No, I wouldn't. Actually, I had someone come up to me and say, oh, would you read that? I was like, no. Which, I just really wouldn't.
Yeah.
If people are like, please read book 2, then I will.
Yeah, and it, book 2 may redeem this book 1.
It might.
But for right now, I just don't feel comfortable rating my reading experience higher than a 3, just because it was fun while it was fun, but it just didn't pay off.
No.
And again, that plot twist.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Even beforehand for me, I don't even know if it was the romance. I just was like waiting. I was waiting for romance. I was waiting for a character development. I was waiting for a hint to drop. I was waiting. It's just weird.
It's kind of like, how in TV series there will be episodes that are called filler episodes where they're not moving the plot forward. They're just there to fill space. That's what this whole book
It was a filler episode.
Felt like. It was a filler episode with a ton of random stuff happening at the end. And that, it was just like filler episode with cliffhanger ending. And that was what we got with this first book. And as a first book, that's not what we needed.
No. So maybe don't read it. Unless TikTok has really made you curious. And if you disagree with us, let us know why. Use the rubric.
Right.
Use the rubric to tell us why you don't agree with us.
Yeah.
That's my challenge.
Yeah, and I am completely fine with being, wrong. Well, I don't know if wrong is the right word. Where people disagreeing with us, because I think that if you know this author personally, if you watched her stuff for a really long time, it's going to feel nostalgic for you, and that might make it more enjoyable. From a purely like outsider perspective with no prior knowledge of this story, it felt underdeveloped. And that is where I'm landing. So
on that note, we need our math magician.
So after some calculations.
According to my calculations.
I had a solid even 3 for when I divided up everything. It's a 3 for me. And then
it's a 2.5 for me.
Yep, and it was an exact 2.5. I like when we have exact numbers. Anyway, so that's where we landed for this one. If you've read it before, let us know what you thought. And are you still going to check it out?
Yeah. Will you read book 2?
Yeah.
Cool.
Like and subscribe.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.